welcome to episode 1024 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello.
How's it going there?
Pretty good. I mean, we're recording early this week because as of about 5 minutes ago, my son's team made the playoffs, which means that we need to travel to the next province over tomorrow. So, and the weekend. So they were in a battle for the final playoff spot, and their rivals just lost their game by 1 goal. So,
boom.
Yeah. So that's why we're here early, everybody.
That is why we're here early. Yeah.
How are you? How have you been?
Oh, I'm falling apart as per usual.
We haven't talked about that in a while. Like, you haven't talked about any new ailments anytime recently.
No new ailments. The same ones. Ailments.
Oh yeah, that they don't count. That's old news.
Same one.
This is the internet, man. Like, anything that's older than an hour is never happened.
Right. Well, tonight I'm in the middle of a migraine, so
sweet.
That'll be fun to record with. But I'm doing it, hobbling along, Anyway, TGIF, because we're recording this on Fridays.
That's right.
Why don't we just jump into the news?
Okay.
I feel good about that. But something I don't feel so good about is
everything?
The resetting of Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've been following the news, you already knew that there were going to be layoffs at Xbox. There were going to be changes, possible studio shutdowns, or at least studios being sold off. And that's exactly what happened pretty much earlier this week as we recorded, but last week as the episode's out. We got this memo from Asha Sharma talking about how they're restructuring, including laying off 3,200 people through fiscal year 27. So they've done 1,600 role eliminations this week. And then there will be 1,600 eliminations to come.
It must be nice. Obviously awful news, but it must be so nice for the people who didn't get laid off this week to have that the sort of Damocles hanging over their heads for God knows how long.
Yes, exactly. And that is the topic of a Jason Schreier video called "The Cruelest Part of Xbox's Layoffs." It exactly centers on that, where, okay, now you're still working at an Xbox studio or at Xbox, and you know that more cuts are coming, and will you have your job at the end of the year or at the end of the fiscal year? Like,
that
is pretty cruel.
That memo being released, I think a really charitable way to look at it is that they're trying to be honest, right?
Yeah, I mean, the memo is going to leak whether they posted it or not anyway, so you may as well.
I guess I should say not even being leaked, but I mean the fact that it was even sent. Right, even internally. I mean, again, to be totally fair to them, you can make an argument that they're just trying to be honest. Right? It's like things are bad. We're going to let go of a lot of people, and there's more coming. So prepare yourselves, and it does give people a chance to seriously begin a new job search, I guess. I also think that the more cynical way to look at that is that it gives people a chance to begin a new job search, and maybe some of these positions will take care of themselves.
Possible. You know what I mean? I guess, of course, that's as if the job hunting was going to be fruitful this year. If you're looking to stay in games, I mean, it's not a great environment right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which also sucks just because all of that institutional knowledge, all of that knowledge that these people have, all these developers and all these skills just going away. It's crazy.
I mean, they were, she really seemed to go out of her way to point out in that memo as well, though, that there was, I think it was her, that it was in the memo, that it was a lot of middle management.
Yes, 14 layers of management.
Yeah, she made it sound like there was a lot of management bloat, which at a company like Microsoft, absolutely. I'm sure the entirety of Microsoft is probably like that. The difference being that, and she also pointed this out in the memo, is that I'm guessing the rest of Microsoft isn't working on such razor thin profit margins.
No, definitely not.
Because I mean, it's all software, right?
It's all software. Well, so, they do some hardware, but it's not a big business probably for them.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of insight there that I think proves out what I'm guessing, at least for me personally, a lot of folks knew that things were a mess. And hey, not to throw shade at Phil Spencer, but Phil left things in a mess. And there was another, and I'm sorry, I'm going to jump ahead here, but just before the show, I saw a link to a GameSpeak op-ed written by John Kimmich is his name, who was a member of the original Xbox team. Right. Where he pretty much calls out like this is Game Pass's fault. They bet big on Game Pass, and it didn't work. Right. And I just skimmed this, so I'm sorry if I end up misrepresenting it a little, but from what I read so far in this op-ed was like he sort of called out like when Microsoft was first entering the market. They made some big bets. They spent a lot of money to get games like Halo, like by Bungie, and set up deals with FASA, and they had Ensemble Studios and all that stuff. And they threw a lot of money around, but they knew at that time that they needed first party games. Like the way that he put it is like we needed to create gravity so that third parties wanted to invest, right? And it's like that worked. That was a plan. It made sense. Because we were trying to sell the hardware. But his assertion is that Game Pass was treated the same way, which he is saying was a huge mistake, because it ended up cannibalizing itself. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It ended up cannibalizing sales, which when they made the big acquisition of Activision Blizzard, what's the third name in that group? King. Activision Blizzard King, like that was a big part of the conversation was like, do we put these games on Game Pass because they're going to cannibalize sales, right? But I mean, it wasn't just a problem for the Activision Blizzard King stuff. It was a problem in general. And Game Pass was the problem. And the way that they aimed to grow Game Pass, which was we'll just create a bunch of content because we're trying to move people from single purchases to repeatable subscriptions. And when that leveled out and actually began to shrink, they hadn't come close to the numbers they needed for it.
Right.
So, yeah, anyway, it's an interesting, from what I read so far, it's a pretty interesting op-ed. Again, sort of just calling out what I think a lot of us probably already assumed was the case, which was Game Pass. I don't know that maybe the service was a huge mistake, but the way they built the service was a mistake.
Here's the thing, though. Xbox One launches. Well, first of all, there was the TV lub.
Right. He talks about that in there too.
Physical games that weren't really owned by you, the digital licensing thing, and the game sharing thing, which also killed the Xbox One. And recovering from that was almost impossible. Although they did try. The first few years that Phil Spencer came on, they did try a different tact, right? They did try exclusive games that weren't on PC. There was no Game Pass, and it did not work then. To
his credit, I think he was making some good moves at the time with the dog's breakfast that Mattrick left behind.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they made all bad moves.
Right.
But what I'm going to say is, they made a lot of exclusive games. It didn't move the needle. So they changed tactics to let's bring the games out on PC and have everything, play anywhere was a thing where you could bring your saves along from Xbox to PC. Let's connect up the Windows Store. Let's do this Game Pass thing and give away games for free, which honestly is kind of a crazy bet. That's like just going all in. Like that's chopping off an arm to get a handshake or something. It's just like risking it all for that.
Right.
And it didn't work. Yeah. It worked for maybe a little while, but then stopped working. And so they were trying everything, right? And now we're at a point where the decision to give away those games at launch on Game Pass has come back to bite them, right? Making one of the things they said, or somebody at Microsoft said, that Doom the Dark Ages came out and people played it for free on Game Pass instead of buying it. I have a bit of a problem with that statement because technically they weren't playing it for free. They were playing it with the price of their monthly membership to Game Pass.
Yeah, but Game Pass
entirely a mousetrap that Microsoft itself built and then put their hand in the trap.
Right, exactly. Like what you said is true. It's not free. It's like as a Canadian when I talk about my free healthcare, it's not free. You pay for it, right? But
indirectly,
right? But I mean, from the other end of that business setup, it's not free. But if you don't have critical mass subscriptions, you're not going to replace that revenue from what would have been sales. It's, definitely don't want to get into the situation where, everybody who played it on Game Pass would have bought it. Is not true. I would never have bought it.
Absolutely not true. Right.
But yeah, it's just, and I think it's when you look back in hindsight, obviously is 2020. But when you look back, like in this op-ed talks about it, where like the Xbox One debacle, right? Where that whole point was, what he's claiming here is because the Xbox brand was arguably the most successful consumer brand at Microsoft outside of Windows.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the margins were low. Yeah, but he even calls out like that's not enough when the margins are lower than Windows, Office, Azure, and the rest of the company's mainline businesses. Mm-hmm. So the one was trying to expand that by taking over the living room, but they completely misunderstood that TV didn't own the living room anymore. Mobile devices own the living room now. Mobile devices own television.
Broadcast and cable were, even at that time, kind of a dying thing. And streaming services moved up to fill all of that space.
And then with Game Pass trying to transition to a subscription model, and then Game Pass on PC, the whole point was to try to take a bite out of Steam, which they didn't do.
They were not able to do it.
Not even close. Right. No. And that's kind of like there's a paragraph here that makes perfect sense to me where it's like the console install base is smaller than it needed to be. Sony owns the premium console mindshare. Nintendo owns the premium mobile console mindshare. Steam owns PC distribution. Mobile's controlled by Apple and Google. Cloud hasn't become a mass market replacement for local play. And Xbox carries a cost structure built for a growth curve that didn't arrive.
Yeah. But I would say they had to do something, right? I'd say in hindsight, all of this stuff looks bad. Game Pass looks bad. Streaming looks bad. Like a lot of the things that they did look bad.
I feel like they did everything.
Had to do something. They had to do something, right?
Yeah. No, but I just feel like they did everything. That might, again, and it's easy to sit here in hindsight and say this, obviously. Yeah. But, it's like...
I feel like you're right. They tried everything. They tried
the shotgun approach.
Shotgun approach.
Yeah.
And now they're going back to what they were doing in 2014.
Well, I feel like they're going, honestly, I feel like they're not even doing that. I feel like they're cutting it to the, I'm curious to see. I mean, Game Pass is apparently starting to grow a little bit again, which is great, but they're definitely not going to concentrate on all these big first party games for Game Pass anymore.
Right now.
Right? They're just not going to because it's not worth it.
Actually, you know what they should have done? They should have announced, okay, this is exclusive to Xbox and it's not on Game Pass day one.
But see, I mean, I think they've got themselves in a terrible situation because when they do that, Game Pass will shrink again. Game Pass will shrink again.
Of course it will. Yes.
Right? So I mean, they're screwed. But
then again, the revenues are already going to be shrunk because they're not putting things on PlayStation.
Right. And that's the thing. I just think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's all.
Yeah.
Like we had
I do too.
We had a similar, I was thinking about this along the same lines. So in my hometown, so Rogers, which is a big media conglomerate up here in Canada, they closed a bunch of local news stations that they owned across the different provinces, and our market, Halifax, was one where the news radio station was shut down completely. And then there was a fairly popular morning. I mean, in radio, for those of us who still listen to radio, there's a fairly popular morning crew that also were let go and replaced by DJs out of Ontario, right? And I was just thinking in my head, it's like, in that situation, it's like you let go because the market's not big enough to support premium content, let's say. You let go of the people who are giving you that content. And then it's like, if the numbers go up, that's proof that you were right. But if the numbers go down because now you don't have local content, that's also proof that you were right. You know what I mean? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I really feel like that's where Microsoft is right now. And I think I really wonder if they're not to the point now where they just need to say, like, they have Minecraft, they have Activision Blizzard King, they have a lot of really big IP.
Yeah.
They got to do a Sega, man. They got to go third party.
I think you're right.
I think that's where they
have
live.
to do third party because at this point, anything they launch on Xbox isn't going to do the numbers.
They're losing money.
Especially since they're going to continue doing day one on Game Pass.
Yep.
They're not going to have any of these like monster hits, which is I think it's unfortunate for a game like Clockwork Revolution.
Sea of Thieves.
Well, Sea of Thieves is already on every platform.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like,
they can't walk that back.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like Clockwork
Minecraft,
Revolution,
Sea of Thieves, all that stuff is proof that they need to go multi-platform.
It is absolutely proof they need to go multi-platform. And I don't know why they're not seeing it exactly. They don't want that money. It does feel like they're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table and nothing returning it, because now they're banking on people buying Xbox hardware and buying Game Pass subscriptions. And honestly, I don't know that happens because of the hardware being so expensive now. You don't have even Game Pass saying day one games on Game Pass isn't like waving a carrot in front of anybody anymore because the hardware is so expensive, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And also a Game Pass Ultimate subscription is expensive. It's not cheap. It's over $20. So I don't know what they do. Honestly, I think, and also focusing on their biggest franchises, I'm just going to go on a small rant here. That can't necessarily sustain you forever, right? Even if you're doing yearly releases, like look at Ubisoft, who like has done yearly releases of some of their biggest games, and those are diminishing returns at a certain point. It's not like sports games where you can just shove out Assassin's Creed after Assassin's Creed and expect that to continue growing year on year.
You know what kills me? You know what kills me about that truth is that we knew that in the 90s.
Yeah, we did.
Like we were seeing.
You remember when
that
Tomb Raider
happen.
was a yearly
Tomb Raider is exactly
franchise?
what I was going to use as an example. Yes, exactly. That's exactly
diminishing returns,
right? And it wasn't an anomaly. It was a lesson.
No,
and it's a lesson that we didn't seem to learn.
No. Well, Xbox is now honestly like in the position of they didn't learn any lessons throughout their entire history, because you look at the entire history of Xbox when they let go of all their studios around the original Xbox, then they needed to build those back up, and then they got rid of them again, and then needed content because games take longer to develop now than ever before, so they needed something in the interim. And what are they going to do? Like, so the Halo Combat Evolved or Re-Evolved, whatever it is, coming out at the end of this month. Okay, they finish that and then start working on a new Halo that's out in what, 5, 6, 7 years? Like, what? None of this is sort of, well, I look at a memo like what Asha Sharma put out, and it's like, I see that as very short-term thinking.
I think too that
trying to stop the bleeding, but the problem is in a creative industry like games, you can't turn things around that quick. You can maybe stem the bleeding, but honestly, you're going to be right back in the same position very quickly with nothing to sell is the problem.
Right. And I think that and I'm not saying Sony does everything perfectly, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But
we'll talk about them in a few minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah. But like I'm thinking about sort of, and I'm only speaking for sort of for the games that I'm interested in. But like I think about Sony has different franchises that they don't do yearly, but they have enough of them that you get something big every year. Like if you don't get a God of War, you get whatever Naughty Dog's next game is. You get whatever the next Marvel game is. Like if it's a Spider-Man or if it's now Wolverine coming up. Like you know what I mean? Like you just you get something. And I just find that
or a new Horizon thing.
Right. I find that the stable of first-party Microsoft games, and I'm not saying that it's a quality issue, but it's like, the people who are waiting for Halo aren't going to get excited about Forza Horizon. You know what I mean? Like they don't have enough overlap in their different franchises. And it's not to say they shouldn't have those franchises, but it's like, they've got Forza and they were sort of doing here's Forza Motorsport, here's Forza Horizon. And they were trying that for a while, but I don't think they were different enough for it to matter. You know what I mean? Like I almost feel like they needed to break it off and not call them the same franchise. Even that would have helped, And it's the same thing. Like they've got Halo, they've got Doom, and they should be trying to stagger those.
And
Gears, right? So there you go. Like there's a 3-year cycle. I realize games take longer than 3 years to make. I'm not naive, but I'm just saying, right? Like there's a 3-year cycle. It's like this year you're getting a Gears. This year you're getting Halo. This year you're getting Doom. You know what I mean? Maybe this year you're getting Quake. Like just, I don't know. And I mean, that's a super simplification, obviously. But I just think that they're in a spiral now that I do not see how they get out. And I mean, it's been a long, slow, agonizing spiral since the announcement of the One, really. But
basically, yes. I mean, I felt good about Xbox at a bunch of points along the way. I thought Game Pass was a very bold idea to do games launching day one into Game Pass. And that wasn't something that happened originally. Like when they launched Game Pass, it wasn't day one Microsoft games.
Right.
That only started with Sea of Thieves, actually. That was the first one. And so...
And I think when it was new, it did make sense. And I think it still makes sense in a way.
And I think the hardware that they did, I think the Xbox One X and S were good ideas. I think the Series S and X were good ideas. They didn't capture an audience. And the problem was that Sony, by that time, had built enough of a install base, and you sort of play where your friends are, right? And getting people to move platforms, to jump platforms, is exceedingly hard, especially if you've lost people from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One generation.
Yeah.
And if your friends are playing on PlayStation, I'm sorry, that's it. It's not gonna, people aren't gonna jump. And people aren't even gonna jump for one great game. Nintendo learned this with the Wii U, right? Like the Wii U had great games. They had a lot of great games. Mario Kart 8, Splatoon started on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And these are games that once they launched the Switch and then started doing monthly releases, even though a lot of that first year and second year were Switch. Yeah.
Like I don't know if it was the biggest selling Switch game, but it was a constant seller on Switch for the entirety of the system's lifespan.
Correct. But that was a Wii U game.
Right.
It's like the content from that console being brought over to the Switch to fill in the gaps is like the best thing Nintendo could have done. And they realized that they needed that cadence of great software or first-party software to stay alive, because they did not have that during the Wii U. Period. And that is what it would take from Microsoft in order to gain any traction. But they don't have the same kind of business that Nintendo has, right? They just don't.
Well, no,
they're never going to have that.
And I think, again, Game Pass, theoretically works. And like when they started to do the every screen is an Xbox thing, like philosophically, I think that makes a lot of sense, because that's what Game Pass was missing. Like when you consider your subscriptions, right? Like your Prime and all the video subscriptions, basically, they work on everything. I can play it on my phone. I can play it on my iPad, my TV, my computer, my refrigerator, whatever. So that's what Game Pass didn't have. But their switch to PC wasn't enough. And the other thing is that it took them way too long to make it ubiquitous. And we got to the point where everybody was really starting to suffer from subscription fatigue.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we all have so many subscriptions now.
Yeah. I actually don't think everything's an Xbox is a bad marketing campaign. I know a lot of people think that it is bad, but I think
it was bad from the fact that they were still trying to sell hardware. That was the problem with it, is that it confused the overarching goal of selling the hardware, right? Like, I think when you take the Xbox out of the picture, everything's an Xbox makes way more sense. But I just think it was executed poorly because it was hard to tell what they were trying to do. Are you selling subscriptions? Or are you selling hardware? You're trying to sell both, but by pushing one, you're hurting the other.
Right. They were just throwing everything at the wall at that point. Anything they could possibly do. Yeah. Unfortunately, none of it worked. But the downside, I think, is that I don't think anything is going to continue to work. Like,
I don't either.
I guess we'll see at the end of this year. But there are reports that Grand Theft Auto 6 is outselling or on PS5 is outselling the Xbox version by like 6-1 or 8-1. Yeah, it's just there's no reason that is going to change with whatever changes they're making to the business.
And a company like Microsoft, where they're not a Nintendo, and they're not or what Sega used to be, they don't need the Xbox. If the Xbox brand folds tomorrow, Microsoft doesn't go out of business.
No,
it hurts their bottom line for sure. But that's the thing to me, is that at the end of the day, I just don't see them staying the course, because really the only thing that's going to help them is Sony would have to have a massive screw up, and even then, with the current prices of hardware, I don't think that would even be enough.
No.
I mean, they're not. Nintendo is different. They're not.
What does a massive screw up on Sony's end look like?
I don't even know. I mean, they seem to be trying.
Yeah, you could say getting rid of physical games by 2028.
But Microsoft did the same thing.
I know. The funny thing about that move, getting rid of physical games by 2028, is something that they know Microsoft doesn't have an answer to, because Microsoft doesn't want to say anything about physical games either. No. That's hurting their business as well. And
because they've been working so hard for the last 10 years to try to transfer over to a subscription model.
Exactly. It's so wild. And I mean, the other thing that there's a lot of things that suck about this whole thing is the studios that got caught in the middle of it. Compulsion, Double Fine, Arcane, id, Bethesda. I mean, everybody. And even going back further than that, let's talk about The Initiative that was working on a Perfect Dark game. Let's talk about the Romero game that was allegedly an Xbox project Arcane? That got canceled.
Arcane was
I mentioned Arcane. Too. Yeah, Arcane.
Like one of them was closed.
Austin, the Austin office was closed. Rare, that Everwild game that apparently had been taking good strides, got canceled, and who knows what the hell Rare is going to work on from now on. It's just so confounding, like, because as gamers, we want to play all this great content, and we hope that, or we look at a company like Microsoft, and I think Double Fine even like said this when they got acquired. It's like it gives you stability, right? Because Microsoft is a larger company. They have the coffers. to bankroll this stuff. We have found the end of Microsoft's coffers. Like they ended last year or before.
Just it, right? I mean, I think that again, all in hindsight, but I think that looking at it as a blank check was foolhardy because we're not at the end of Microsoft coffers. We're at the end of their capacity to throw money at this, or their willingness to throw.
They've seen the shiny new thing,
right?
The shiny new thing being AI,
right?
And they think they can make money in that. I wonder how they think they can do that, but okay.
I wonder how most people think they can do that right now, but
correct.
that really helped. That really, there we go.
That did help. Yeah. And going back to Asha Sharma's memo, talking about the margins, that's what it's all about. They want profit, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that they don't have margins. They are making some money or whatever. But they're 3 to 10 times lower than comparable platform and publishing businesses. I do wonder if they're comparing themselves to PlayStation, because like the number 2 platform comparing themselves to number 1 when the space between the two is so large, just seems like, why are you even trying to compete on that field? Like to me, it's about small gains here. You are not going to be number 1. And
I also wonder if they're comparing themselves to other Microsoft products.
That could be too. So yeah, they entered Generation 9 with a smaller install base and higher cost structure. Yes, okay. So they bet on Game Pass. It didn't grow at the pace they expected. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So, but what the hell do you do from here? Where do you find those small wins? Where do you find those small gains? I don't think it is from, booting all these studios and canceling a lot of projects, because you need more at-bats to knock one out of the park, to use a tortured sports metaphor. But
you are a sports guy.
Right? Yeah. Like you need to be able to take those shots. And if you have fewer studios, you're going to have less chance to do that. And they're going to come at a longer interval than, once Playground Games finishes up on Fable and starts to work on their next thing, whatever that is, how many years do you think it's going to be until they do that? And Fable is not an Xbox exclusive game. They already announced it and are taking pre-orders on PlayStation 5. So what is the end game here? And I think you're right. Becoming a third party really is the end game to all of this.
Yeah, I mean, just take the hardware out of it completely. I mean, the Xbox brand could live on in some form, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I think it's some version of Game Pass, to be honest. But but again, you've got to deal with the fact that everybody else already has a subscription-based platform. So that's not going to work either. So.
And in the upcoming years, I do wonder, since hardware is so expensive, whether cloud gaming, whether this is the time where
I feel like it's going to be shoved down our throat like everything else is. I mean, cloud-based gaming is okay. I think
the problem with cloud-based gaming is it entirely depends on your internet connection, and most people don't have a fast or dependable enough connection in order to sustain cloud gaming. The people who have that are the ones who could pay for the hardware, like the expensive hardware.
Yep.
Anybody else is kind of out of luck with that. But then you would get a situation where, okay, GTA 6 is coming out. How big a download is that? It's going to be 200 gig. Like if you were in a place without great internet, you're going to be downloading that for a long ass time.
And that hard drive you're downloading it to costs exponentially more than it used to. So
that's also true. Yeah.
If you need a new hard drive.
Oh
my God. Doing the news at the beginning of the show is such a negative way to start every week at this point.
Here's the thing about it. I want to be positive. I am positive about games in general, because 2026 is an absolutely banner year for bangers. in games, right?
Banner
like we've
for
had
bangers.
so many banner for bangers show title. But
banging for banners.
It's hard to stay positive when the industry is changing so much so quickly, and trying to see what that future is.
Not in an exciting way.
And not in an exciting way, because you're like, well, shit, is this going to be the last game that I play from whatever studio?
Right.
Like if it doesn't do well enough.
I mean, we've gone through big sea changes in the industry before, but a lot of times you could find a reason to be excited. Even again, going back to Game Pass, right? Yeah. You could find a reason to be excited about that.
Sure.
Because
I was
very excited about, I'd love to try some of this stuff that I wouldn't necessarily drop $60 on.
Yeah.
For a cheap monthly subscription, and discovered a whole bunch of indies through that service. A whole bunch, that I would never have even known about. But this change is there. I can't find a silver lining anywhere.
No.
And I think that should be our transition into the PS physical news backlash. Speaking of no silver linings.
No silver linings whatsoever. Yeah, so the reaction to the physical announcement has been obviously very bad.
Predictable.
So all of these social media posts that Sony put out over the past week have been inundated with posts about physical games. And you have a story like this on IGN where over 90% of IGN's audience do not want an all-digital gaming future. But PlayStation is unlikely to U-turn on its decision to kill discs. You see a lot of the negative comments, but I wonder what this is actually going to do. Like we're Sarah Connor going into the uncertain future at the end of T2. And it's like, do we expect Sony to backtrack on this decision? I don't expect Sony to backtrack on this decision. There's no competitive advantage for them to backtrack on that position. The problem being that if you have a personal relationship with a corporation or a product line, and you've sort of had a parasocial relationship with them, thinking that they're your friends or only doing good things.
Oh God, that's always been
just so not the case. Time after time after time. I don't care who you're a fan of. Like I'm an Apple fan. Do I say they only do good things? No, they do plenty of not so good things.
So one of the reasons why, I mean, I don't think this is going to move anyway. There's no way they're going to U-turn. But The Verge reported that they're already retraining and reworking their disc creation, their disc manufacturing capacity to work on optical micro lenses instead. Yeah, in Austria. So I mean, it's already started. Yes. The 2020. What is it? 28? When this is going to be?
28. Yeah,
2028.
January
still the deadline, 2028. But they're not waiting until 2028 to do something about this.
No.
And so optical micro lenses are of course a component that is AI related. There's a high demand for them for I'm assuming for data centers. So yeah,
probably so.
So that's done. I mean that's done. Like there's not going to be a turnaround.
Right. In terms of
sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying it goes back to kind of what I was saying before, as far as like the self-fulfilling prophecy, where that's done. And even if the groundswell is we it'll be, hey, we'd love to go back to physical, but now it's really expensive to do that.
Yeah.
Really expensive because nobody makes them anymore, because we don't make them anymore.
Right.
So sorry.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, people are saying to protest this, cancel PS Plus, or, Wolverine is coming out in a couple months, buy that physical to show support for physical media. And I'm just wondering, like, is that actually going to show anything
No,
on
but I still think people
anybody's
should do
radar.
it. I still think people
What's
should
that?
do it. I don't think it won't change anything, but I still think people should do it. I'm a big proponent of voting with your wallet.
Yes, I am too. But if you were really voting with your wallet, you wouldn't buy Wolverine.
It's
like
true.
This would be a brand severing relationship event, right?
But where are you going to go? Microsoft?
Which was kind of what happened with me last year with Game Pass when they upped it by 50%.
Sure.
I was like, well, not only that decision, but the killing of the Initiative and the killing of Rare's game, like, made me just think, I don't need this. I don't need this platform.
Yep.
I don't think we're to that level where anybody is like, I don't need this platform anymore with PlayStation 5. But anyway.
Yep.
Depressing.
It is.
And I want to talk about the positives of all this stuff. Like, there's got to be a silver lining. There's no silver lining, but the hunt continues for the silver lining to all of this.
Hey, you know what?
Bring back Concord. What?
One of the negative stories we were talking about last week was Nintendo and the crappy release schedule for NSO.
Right.
And hey, we got some new stuff to play on NSO this week. That's good. That's a plus.
We did. What did we get?
We got some Game Boy and classics and I think a Game Boy Advance game, right? 3 Game Boy games and a Game Boy Advance game. And one of them's Wario Land. It's great.
Wario Land.
Wario Land's a great game.
Yes. It is a great game. And I haven't played it in a long time, but it is a great game. Super Mario Land 3.
So that's awesome.
Mario Land.
Great. Yeah. Good stuff.
What about
something
Forbidden?
to be happy
about. Wait, what is the next one?
Hold on. I don't know.
Mario Land.
Fortified
Zone.
Fortified Zone.
And Sword of Hope 2.
Sword of Hope 2. Yeah. I don't know anything about Fortified Zone, but
I booted it up. It's like a shooter with sort of Zelda, like single screen.
It looks like a cross between Zelda and like Metal Gear on the NES.
It does kind of, but I didn't really like it because enemies respawn when you go back into the screen. And Sword of Hope 2 is an RPG, and I think I started the original one on NSO, and it was just too clunky for me. But
well, I mean, old school RPGs are rough, right?
Yeah, and this one's on the Game Boy, so it's definitely rough.
But man, I used to love me a good RPG on the Game Boy. So, but you know what? The point is, there's something new on NSO.
Well, and Game Boy Advance got the best thing, the Dr. Mario and Puzzle League pack that Nintendo put out on the Game Boy Advance around the time that the Game Boy Micro came out, because I remember playing this on the Game Boy Micro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know you're a Puzzle League guy.
I am a Puzzle League guy.
Yeah. So I figured you'd be excited about this.
I love the fact that they put out Puzzle League, because that gives me hope that maybe we'll see a new Puzzle League at some point. That would be fantastic.
Did they release the N64 game yet on NSO?
I believe it is on...
Is Pokemon Puzzle League on NSO?
Yeah, I believe it is on NSO. Yes.
I remember you, because I want to say Cy and Jim. I mean, Cy and Jim were big Pokemon card game guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By the way, this is people in the art department of EGM that I'm talking about here.
Right.
And I seem to remember. I remember you guys running a little tournament for Pokemon Puzzle League when it came out on the N64.
Yeah, we did.
So, yeah, I have fun memories of watching other people play that game because I suck at it. But watching you guys that were good at it was fun.
Yeah, Puzzle League / Panel de Pon / Tetris Attack is one of the great puzzle games. And Nintendo has this, and Tetris Attack came out on the Super Nintendo using the name Tetris for whatever freaking reason. Like, I don't understand. It has no resemblance really, other than it's a block puzzle game to Tetris. And then they put out Pokemon Puzzle League on the N64. They put out Pokemon Puzzle Challenge on the Game Boy Color. They put out this Dr. Mario and Puzzle League pack on the GBA. They put out Planet Puzzle League on the DS, which I don't know if you remember that. Then they put out
I do, actually.
For Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS, there was an update very late in the 3DS's life cycle, adding a Puzzle League mini game to that. And there's been no Puzzle League anything for the Switch yet. I'm just like, my fingers are crossed. I'm like ready for them to do something Puzzle League related on Switch, because now we have a bunch of the games available on NSO, and hopefully that has brought some new people into the fold. That would be great too, just to know how great a puzzle game Puzzle League is. It's fantastic. It is, of course, a match 3 or more style puzzle game, but it's so good. Like when you see high level play of it, it's just amazing to watch. And a very back and forth 2-player versus puzzle game where the lead could be very thin sometimes. So yeah, it's a great game. And I'm so happy that it came out on NSO. Of course, this is another month without Mole Mania, which is a fantastic game on Game Boy. When will we get Mole Mania? I have no idea. I'm sure it's got to be in there somewhere. But very happy we got Wario Land and, of course, Dr. Mario and Puzzle League. What's your feeling on Dr. Mario?
I mean, I played it.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest memory of Dr. Mario is Andy Eddy writing a editorial in Video Games and Computer Entertainment railing against it because he famously wasn't a Nintendo fan. And he basically was like, Dr. Mario is evil because it's Nintendo telling children to play with drugs.
Yeah, to pop pills.
Which I thought was hilarious. But
yeah,
it was okay. I've never been big on color matching puzzle games.
Oh,
just
no?
I'm not very good at them. I love Tetris.
I mean, I'm not good at them, but I love playing them.
And I mean, like I played a fair amount of Baku Baku. I really enjoyed that game a lot. But yeah, like I've never been good at columns. I've never been good at Panel de Pan or Puyo Puyo or any of those. So Dr. Mario is fine for what it is. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I
love Dr. Mario. I played
a fair amount of it because of Tetris.
I played the hell out of it on Game Boy.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'll play very much on the Game Boy Advance re-release. I'm playing more Puzzle League than Dr. Mario.
Right.
For sure. All right. And then last up here, I want to talk about this because we just got a little bit of a leak that a new Lego set is coming on the 1st of August, allegedly. This is the Donkey Kong arcade Lego set, 1,367 pieces. And it kind of looks like an arcade game, but not in the same way that the Pac-Man set looks.
Yeah, it's very tough.
It is kind of everything that is around the screen, like the I don't know what you would call it. The mat,
the bezel.
The bezel. There it is. Is very classic styled. And then you have the controls. Was this? I don't remember like a barrel control thing on the original Donkey Kong machine, but maybe I'm just not remembering correctly.
Neither, but I only remember a joystick and a jump button.
Me too. It kind of it's vaguely reminiscent of an arcade machine, but not. It does not look like the Pac-Man set, which looked like an arcade machine way more. So, wondering what the interactive elements on this are. It looks like we can make Mario jump, hopefully.
Yeah,
but, I'm definitely picking this up. It's apparently $200, but I'll eat ramen for a month.
I really want this too. There was a fair amount. So our racing Discord is our unofficial Lego Discord, and Hacker Alias GSR Jedi also put in some images of some upcoming Star Wars sets that are all very exciting.
Yeah.
There's like there's one that pays tribute to filming the original New Hope in Tunisia. And there's one that's like, I think it's supposed to be Man's Chinese Theater, although I don't think they can say that as far as like with the marquee about Star Wars and Darth Vader. It all looks awesome and I want all of it and I won't be able to afford any of it. But
isn't it the Kodak Theater?
Is it? Well, I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, back in 1977, it probably wasn't. So
right. Then it was the man's Chinese theater. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, this looks awesome. And I mean, the Pac-Man build was really fun.
It was super fun.
The mechanism for moving the ghosts and Pac-Man around on mine just doesn't work anymore. I need to take the thing apart, and I don't know if it's down in my den, and I'm guessing that it was played with by somebody and maybe a little forcefully, but
played roughly. Yeah.
I normally enjoy rough play, but not when it comes to my Lego sets. So
right.
Just saying.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that build. That was the biggest. I think that it was the biggest Lego set I've actually put together.
Mine is the 66 Batmobile, which I've got sitting over in the corner here.
Nice.
I loved that set. I wish I pulled the trigger on the 89 Batmobile. Hopefully they'll re-release that someday.
This Donkey Kong set is going to serve me well. It's going to be a good project. I'm looking forward to it. All right.
I'll tell you what wasn't
a positive thing. We ended with a positive.
I'm going to go negative here for a second, though.
Oh no! Don't go negative. You've left me. That's why you're negative. Put your headphones back on. What's that?
I need to call out Lego.
You're going to call out Lego.
What the hell is this?
Oh, right. So you bought that? You bought the Lego Sega Genesis?
I bought it with points. I had enough points that it was free.
Okay.
This is awful.
When did you put that together?
I don't know, a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Look at these controllers.
What's
even happening?
I don't know.
Lego did Sega dirty. That's all I'm saying.
It's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm still excited about the Donkey Kong one. It's Nintendo, so it'll be a good set.
Right.
It's just like the 90s.
I wonder what the there's a rumor that there's a PlayStation 1.
I wouldn't be surprised. The Lego Genesis is a real missed opportunity, I think, because the Lego consoles have been fantastic. All four of the other ones have been amazing. So, or all three of the other ones. Is it three? Yeah. NES, 2600, and Game Boy. So 3 other ones. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. I think that's it for the news. So we should get into what we've been playing. I've been chipping away at Rhythm Heaven Groove. And I think I'm done with so the challenges are, it like gives you 4 challenges and then a remix. And so I'm on I finished the 4th column of challenges. And usually in those, there's always a challenge. There's always some song that I absolutely hate and whiff on every single time. And that has been true for lines 2, 3, and 4 so far. There's always been one that I just cannot get the timing down. I can't get it. And I just have to keep replaying it until I do. Or just, take my lumps and try again later, which is what I'm doing, really. I'm forging ahead even without all gold medals on each song. But I am really enjoying that sort of slow drip of going through the stages and unlocking things. I unlocked my first perfect challenge. So the game, it has like 80 single player stages. And once you get through enough songs, it gives you this challenge like, okay, now try to perfect this one. And it'll pick at random one of the levels that you need to perfect.
Okay.
And you have 3 shots at doing it, and that's it.
It's interesting.
It away. So, so it gave me the kitchen level, which is a very popular memeable kitchen stage where you are this woman in the kitchen making food, I don't know what, slicing tomatoes and things, and tomatoes are being thrown at you, and you catch them and then chop them up, and then I forget what thing. It's like a yellow pepper gets thrown at you, and you catch it and chop it up, and then that's a different tempo. But that was the stage that I got in my perfect challenge, and I was able to do a perfect run of that. My daughter got the level with the sneezing moon, where ghosts are trying to pass through through a gap in the fence without the moon seeing them, and the only way they can do it is do it when the moon sneezes. So the moon shuts its eyes.
Okay.
That was super hard. And so I don't think my daughter got through that one perfectly. Maybe she did. But we're going to play some co-op stuff this weekend, which I'm very excited about.
Cool.
In Rhythm, Heaven, Groove. That's a great game. It is. So all of the negative news that has come out over the past 2-3 weeks, or 2-3 months, if you want to go back that far, playing a game like Rhythm, Heaven, Groove is just such a joy. It's just such a warm, fun, video gamey thing that it's bringing me a lot of happiness to play it. So I've been playing that.
And that is super important now more than ever.
It is. Yeah, exactly. The other thing that I've been playing is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced.
Mm-hmm.
The pirate fantasy continues. This game
kicked it off
for me pretty much. Yep. So I played the original Black Flag in 2013. It was a launch title for the PlayStation 4. And it came out like a week or two before on PS3 and Xbox 360. And I skipped those in order to get the PS4 version and loved the hell out of it and finished it. It's the only Assassin's Creed. Wait, is it the only Assassin's Creed game I've finished? I think it might be. But of course, it is pirate focused, and it is a fantastic Assassin's Creed game. I think it starts off very well. I haven't gotten to play too far in because we were recording this on Friday, and it only came out yesterday. So, but I am having a heck of a time with it so far. It looks way better than it did 13 years ago. No,
I imagine it does. I mean, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. And I am looking forward to playing the rest of it. Like playing as Edward Kenway is really fun. I have heard they took out a lot of the Abstergo stuff, the modern day stuff.
Yes.
That's mostly fine with me.
I think people just don't care about it anymore.
Yeah, that's part of it. I didn't really care about the overarching idea that the Assassin's Creed games, you are part of a game company that is playing memories of, long dead ancestors in order to get gameplay ideas. But that's what it is. And I never really connected with that part of Assassin's Creed. I connected with the, hey, I'm on a ship and I'm piloting it.
I was going to say,
cannons.
It's very clear that this is the thing about this game that you loved.
This is the thing about the game that I loved. Yes, exactly. And so I'm sure there will be much more of that. Yeah, it's great. And there'll be a lot of sailing and a lot of climbing up buildings and such.
So you can see the boats and then go get on them and sail.
So that you can see the boats, get on them, and go sailing. Yeah. I mean, I love this game. So I'm sure I'll like the remake. And it's been getting very good reviews. It has an 85 on OpenCritic. And this was one of my games in the Fantasy Critic, the P1P Fantasy Critic. So I get 15 points for this game reviewing well, which is good. But of course, and it sold 2 million units for Ubisoft. Let's not talk about the 50 people they laid off from their Barcelona studio after the launch. But
if I was working in the game industry, I'd just never want to finish a game.
I know. Maybe that's why all these games are taking longer and longer.
Maybe that's it.
Nobody wants to get fired at the end. But it's a fantastic game. I'm wondering, because the original was during all of the second screen madness. You remember when that was the thing?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So there was an Assassin's Creed app that you could download, and then you could send various pirate crew off on missions to collect resources and things. So I'm wondering how, if at all, they'll recreate that. I haven't read any reviews to know that if they've done that, but that was an aspect of the game that I actually really liked because it was real time. Right, you would set people out on a journey, and like mobile games often do, like time gate things, it would take like 2 hours or 4 hours for your pirate crew to come back and give you things in the real game. That was kind of fun. So, yeah,
cool.
I'll be playing more of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and I'm really enjoying it. It looks great. The voice acting, of course, is very good. I'm hoping that I don't get too bogged down by a map full of a bunch of things to do, because this is, of course, an open world game. But I imagine that Ubisoft will bring some of the things they've done to other modern Assassin's Creed games and let you choose how much of that stuff is on the map. So
I imagine that's the case. Yes.
Yeah. But I'm very excited because, as you say, this is the game that kicked off my pirate streak. Yeah.
Pirate streak. Excuse me.
Yes. And now I will turn it over to you, Greg. What have you been playing?
So I'll tell you what.
Tell me what.
I have been sporadically streaming all summer for various reasons, but I finally got around to. I've been trying to play Night Trap on the 32X. There's my stream. And I played it weeks ago, and I'd forgotten that the 32X version is actually a double disc game. It's 2 discs. I don't think the original Sega CD version was. Yeah. So I couldn't figure out. I was playing it on my Polymega, and I could not figure out how to do a disc swap. So when I got to the second disc, I just couldn't continue. Anyway, I installed both discs on my Polymega and then played through it last night. And it was great. I love Night Trap. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a good game, but I just love it. I love it. I love how campy it is, and playing through and seeing the whole game and doing it with a streaming audience was a lot of fun, because I'm guessing that most of the people in that crew probably had never played through it either. So, but the thing is that, of course, to do a successful playthrough of Night Trap, you have to skip most of the story,
right?
Which isn't
really
as funny, right? But I mean, I get it, because they needed to make it that way. Because if this had been a linear A to B kind of game, you'd play it once and never play it again, right?
Exactly.
So the whole point of the game is, it's when you look at it as a big puzzle game, it makes a lot of sense. It's a game that absolutely is meant to be played multiple times. It's meant for you to keep notes, and
which
time
I did
codes,
back in the day.
Which
I had
anybody who played through it did, right?
A notebook that I wrote down the times and with everything happening, what happened where.
Right. So then after I'd finished it, I mean, the game is also only about a half an hour long, and I streamed for like an hour and a half. So I actually went on and had found a series of 5 videos that did every story segment, that had put every story segment together. So we watched that as a group, and it was just so much fun, because you miss so much of the story, and there's so much gold in them thar hills that you just don't know exists until you go watch these clips. Like you could have discovered it by randomly clicking through rooms at various points, but there's just so much like that you would never see if you were playing seriously, because like the way the game works, if you're in one area of the house and you miss an aug, which of these things you're trying to capture, these things called augers, you miss one, you hear a little beep, like a little pop happens, just to blip, indicate, blip, hey, you just missed blip. Something. And when we were sitting there watching these story scenes, the thing was just popping like crazy. So it's like, to actually sit and watch this, you would have to lose the game. So, but man, I enjoyed Night Trap so much. So it was fun to play through it again.
Me too.
Because I haven't in a while. And of course, this was a 32X version, which was the re-released version after Sega had stopped publishing the game, following the video game violence hearings in the ESRB, in the institution of the ESRB. So it's a little bit different, but it was great. It was great to experience it again. I really enjoy digital picture stuff. Always have.
Me too.
I was never. There might have been a moment in my life where I thought full motion video was the future, but I didn't think that for very long. But it didn't mean I couldn't appreciate what full motion video was bringing to to video games.
Yeah.
And I have to, again, cannot recommend enough Digging for I-6, which is Pandemonium's amazing digital pictures documentary on YouTube.
I need to watch that.
You've got to watch it. It's like 8 hours long, but watch it in pieces. But it's so good. And it's such a fascinating look into the story of digital pictures and sort of what they were trying to accomplish with their various games. So, yeah. And then the other thing that I happened to do last night, totally didn't expect it to happen, but I finished Vampire Crawlers.
What?
Yeah, I was doing a run last night, and it was like, oh, damn, this is the final boss. I wasn't expecting this.
It's different. Okay.
So, yeah, I finished Vampire Crawlers. And I kind of mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, like, definitely in a position now in this game where all of the runs are quite long, and it's normal to get just massive combos, and it just makes the game that much more enjoyable. Because I mean, the big challenge in this game is to build a deck. I mean, there's still a randomness to it, obviously, but to build a deck where you can just string together really big combos, because that's how you do like massive damage, and that's how you definitely have to deal with multiple boss characters. But now that I've finished the story, I have like 8 different unlocks left to get that I'm still trying to figure out how to do. So there's still a fair amount of game left. So I'm still playing it. But yeah, I finally rolled credits on it last night. So
cool.
Pretty excited about that. And then I played it again for like another hour tonight, trying to do the final unlocks. So I'm I really like this game a lot.
It's a good game.
Yeah. I don't really have much else to say about it, though. I'm just playing. Yeah. And I'm still playing Lego Batman, but I don't have anything new to say about that either. So that's really it. That's all I was playing this week.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quick.
Well, I think it's time to head to blue skies.
Blue skies. What do we got?
Oh, wait, was that it?
That's it. I'm only ever doing that.
You're not doing anything more than that?
Nope.
Okay. All right, fine. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Ice Cap Zone, who says, we get lots of remakes of good games, but what's a bad game with a good idea you'd like to see remade so they can get it right this time? I'm going to mention a game. I liked it at the time, but I think it could do with some improvements, some quality of life stuff, and that's Blue Dragon for the Xbox 360.
Yeah, well, you really liked Blue Dragon.
I really did, because Blue Dragon is an old school RPG. It's not trying to be Final Fantasy. And I think at the time it wasn't appreciated for that reason. But I do think there are a lot of good ideas in that game. And I think the story being like a very shonen anime style story, I feel like that could do quite well now. Then maybe it didn't do, it definitely didn't do well before. But also it had this weird thing like where it would give you all these an option to like search things, and you'd press the button to search and it would like take a beat and then tell you there was nothing there, and that was really upsetting. Like it's really stupid. And so I feel like with some nips and tucks, Blue Dragon could be really fun. Like I feel like the idea there, an old school RPG in a next generation package. I mean, it's the kind of thing we're seeing in HD 2D games, and
yeah, for sure.
Like that's one of the things I loved about the game. It was not appreciated at the time. I feel like I'd like to see it again, but
I'm sifting through. It's just a sort of a backlog list here because I'm having trouble. I know there's probably dozens of games that we've talked about on the show where I've said I really want to like this, but I can't get into it.
For whatever reason.
But for some reason, the thing that popped up on my screen, this is so stupid. Alien vs. Predator on the Jaguar.
Whoa!
I'd love to see that remade with a good frame rate and good controls. I'd love to experience that game, but that's more of a ROM hack than anything else.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. That I would like to. You know what? One of the things that I think is
3D
happening.
Mega Man.
Yeah. Well, people really like that. One of the things that is happening that I'm kind of excited for is new Jet Set Radio. Because people love those games, but I'm not one of them. I love the idea of those games, but I think they play like crap. So, and I'm sure there's a way to do those games right. So I would love to see.
What does that mean? Do those games right?
I don't know.
What does that mean exactly?
I don't know what it means. They need to play better somehow.
Gameplay loop. Different.
No, I don't. I think it's more of a control thing.
Mechanics for tagging. Different.
The mechanics for tagging would be something to work on. Sure.
I mean, they did change it between Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future, right?
Did they?
Jet Grind. Sorry.
Well,
I'm pretty sure they did change it between the two.
But that comes to mind as well. I'm excited to see what they do differently.
Yeah,
with that game, but I can't think of much else off the top of my head. I'm sure after we stop recording, I'll think of like a dozen.
Exactly. Red Dead Redemption 2.
No.
BioShock Infinite. Bad game that could be will there be remakes of BioShock? That's an interesting idea.
I mean, there were already.
There was already a remaster of that, but could they go even further?
I mean, I would play them.
I would probably play the first one, maybe the second one too, but not Infinite. Not Infinite. No. All right.
I got nothing else.
Shall we keep going? Let's keep going. Let's do this one from NWR Donald, who says, what's your take on the possibility of the PS6 either being entirely or partially a handheld device, which would give them cover to drop disc production?
I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think the portable PS6 is going to happen? Or what do you think? No?
I don't think so. Because I think that puts them in more direct competition with Nintendo, and I don't know that they want to do that. Right? They kind of, again, with Xbox sort of imploding at this point, who else do they, and I don't think that Steam machines are going to get off the ground. They're not competing with anybody. I mean, they're still technically
they're not even competing with Steam Deck.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like there's a space that they own now, and there's nothing to indicate that they won't. They're not just going to continue to own it by default, right? Yeah. So I don't know why you would do that. And I think with parts at a premium, unless they decide to make it less powerful than a PlayStation 5. I don't know how you. Which
I think is the idea, right?
A screen. Is it?
I've understood that the idea is to make it sort of like the portable would be your Xbox Series S. And maybe less powerful than a PS5. Yeah.
Okay.
I find it hard to.
I feel like it'd be weird to call that a PS6, but.
Right. PlayStation handheld, whatever. Yeah. I find it difficult to imagine in this new world we're living in where parts are extremely expensive because of AI. I find it hard to imagine that they go forward with whatever plan they had for a PlayStation handheld. Right. I think they have already had success with the PlayStation Portal, and that's been a very good experiment. But the reason the Portal, I think, does so well is that it's cheap. I don't know how much longer. I think it went up in price already once.
I think it did.
But I think that is a better, like sticking with that is a better play than introducing a new handheld that's potentially how expensive and to what end? Like,
right.
You're not going to compete with Nintendo on the portability space of things, can you be happy with Portal as your handheld for now? I'm not saying they should never do it. I'm saying the current supply chain crisis and the RAM and storage crisis changes the calculus for whether you even want to release such a thing.
Yeah.
Do I believe that they
kind of what I
had
was
all
getting
intentions to do it? Yes, I believe they had intentions to do it.
Yeah.
If you release a PlayStation 6 and a handheld around the same time and they're double what they should normally cost or what your consumers would want to spend for them, what does that give you? Like, it doesn't give you anything. If anything, it makes that portable a less desirable piece of hardware. Like, if I'm going to spend $1,500 on hardware, PlayStation hardware, I'm going to buy a PS6 and maybe a Gamer 3 or 2. Okay, 1. But I'm not going to also then pick up a PlayStation portable at whatever price that would be at, which would be over $500, I'm sure, at this point, unless it's a bring your own storage type of thing. Like,
well, I do think that'll be a thing, but yeah,
we mentioned last week, which I think is definitely going to become a thing. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I don't know what any video game hardware company does with any of this stuff, because if it's going to be more expensive, I don't know what any hardware company does now, because it doesn't seem like it's going to change over the next 2 years.
I don't know either. I agree with you.
How do you sell a handheld PlayStation at the same time you're trying to sell people a PlayStation 6?
And
I just
so the flip side of that, if you decide that is your main version of the PS6, how do you compete with the Switch 2? That's a major uphill battle. I don't think you need to get into. If you're in Sony's position, I don't think you need to.
No, I don't think you do either. All right. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias New York Badger, who says, thanks for reading my questions. To elaborate, if you can afford the consoles, how do studios justify the cost of developing AAA / first party / premium games?
By knowing that they can lay off half their workforce when the game is done?
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. I
don't know either.
I mean, I think it's easier for bigger groups that have other revenue generating games on the market while they're developing AAA games.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have that, I don't know how you do that. You know, but I mean, we've been saying that for years, and that I don't get how AAA game development is sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that everybody talks about, right? It's like games are taking longer to make and they're more expensive, and we would be okay with shorter games that didn't take as long to make. But I think that is one of those things that it's good to say that, but will it actually happen? I'm not sure, right?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because you look at a game like Pragmata, which is a short game. I mean, it's like 15 hours. And that took, it was originally supposed to come out, I think, in 2020 or like 2022. And it took 4 more years. Like, it just, sometimes game development is an exploration of the content itself and finding out what works and what doesn't, and then cutting things at the end, right?
Right.
And so that whole journey is different.
I mean, I would say that's most times, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say that's most times. But so saying make cheaper games that are shorter, it sure sounds nice. But then also, is that what your audience actually wants? And is that something that you can actually deliver to the quality level that people expect? You have indies making games like Peak, or making games like Mecha Chameleon. I don't know if you've seen that one. That's a big memeable game. It's a hide and seek game that's also like a prop hunt game where you are these like white little humanoid figures that basically you find a place in the environment to hide, and you can like stick yourself on the wall and then paint
my
yourself
daughter
the
was
color.
right. My daughter was playing something like that in Minecraft yesterday.
Yeah, probably a clone of Magic Chameleon. And it's a very big on streaming right now, and it's the next thing you're going to hear about being huge. Yeah, that game looks like it took, I don't know, not 5 years to make. That's for darn sure. But then again, it's one of those things. It's like a lottery ticket. It could do well. It could completely flop. Like, even those are not guarantees, right? We have these sorts of examples like Peak and Magic Chameleon and all of that, but there's no like guarantee that if Ubisoft were to make a lower budget, smaller game, I mean, take Prince of Persia, the one they did recently, that was probably a cheaper game to make, and it didn't do well enough for them, so they got rid of that team, right? Or that God of War side scroller game that came out in January that wasn't very good.
Yeah, I was going to say the problem there is the game wasn't very good.
Right. Yeah, but smaller game.
I get it.
Not as much development time. Like, again, is it going to be what people want? That's another question entirely. So, it's not as cut and dry as any of the armchair, including ourselves, the armchair analysts trying to say, just do this, just do that. It's never that simple.
Right.
Never.
No, it's not. But I mean, at a very basic level, I don't understand how that business is sustainable, but clearly it is in some form. So I'm glad I'm not in that industry anymore.
Let's finish. We'll finish up with this one. I'm going to save some of the questions for next week. Let's do this one from Hazik, who says, not sure if this could be answered on the podcast eventually, but I wanted to ask y'all, what is another big moment in the 80s or 90s that you remember being a big deal with games? I really only got into gaming in the late 90s to early 2000s. Aside from Sega going third party, was there anything as big as what we're seeing with Microsoft's on and off relationship with exclusives and Sony removing physical media that you remember really stuck out at the time?
I mean,
there were little things.
I was going to say, I could rattle off a ton of little things.
Yeah, I remember Capcom supporting the Genesis and Konami. Like,
Square supporting the PlayStation.
Was huge.
Final Fantasy supporting the PlayStation.
Yeah,
Square going PlayStation. That was seismic. Because right up until the moment it was announced, it was common knowledge that Final Fantasy, whatever the next Final Fantasy game was going to be on the N64.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not because Square said so, but it's just that's just what we all knew, right? Because it was a Nintendo franchise, which was similar, like what you said. I mean, and I think even the PlayStation coming along, it's funny because I think when I do a lot of research into that era for my videos and stuff like that, and when the PlayStation was announced, it was big news. But I think it was, I think everyone's expectations were tempered because we were also in an era where you had the Jaguar and you had the 3DO and you had the CDI, and you know what I mean? You had all these sort of non-starter consoles happening in the mid 90s. But
consumer electronics companies trying to get into games and doing it wrong. And so Sony was just another one of those at first.
Right. That wasn't like the big sea change event. But then when the PlayStation launched, it was huge. It was a massive moment in video games because it ended up being so great. But I mean, tons of little things. Yeah, like you said, like Capcom and Konami jumping ship and supporting Genesis as well. Sonic the Hedgehog was a big deal.
Yeah,
he was a really big deal, especially the pack-in aspect of it. Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo, really big deal.
That was
Mortal Kombat, Mortal Monday, huge. So but I mean, at the level of what you're talking about with the going all digital or whatever's happening with Microsoft. I'd say probably the PlayStation and Final Fantasy VII.
Well, the Saturn surprise launch.
Yep.
That was
true. And
unexpected and like what?
Even before talking about Sega going third party, killing the Saturn early. was kind of a big thing too. Like when Bernie Stoller came out and finally said, like, the Saturn is not our future. That was big. That was a big deal.
That was a huge deal.
The Dreamcast was still years away.
Yeah.
So, and the Dreamcast,
I remember
too,
walking into Best Buys and buying Saturn games for like $5 each. It was fantastic. Yep. Fantastic. But I also remember the day we found out that Sega was going third party, and
I remember that too.
How wild that was.
Yep.
And then also to see Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the cover of Nintendo Power, it was just like, as an 80s kid, as someone who grew up in the trenches of the console war in the 90s, like, absolutely insane to see that cover. Yeah.
Yep. Good times. 90s were awesome.
I agree. So what will be the next big news that will be of this?
The next video game crash.
Yeah. I don't know that I see a lot of people saying that this is the crash.
No, I don't think it will
believe that it is yet, because you don't have, I mean, the crash was the crash, and it was like a surplus of games, and then, you know, everybody discounting physical games.
Yeah, I don't think we can get to that point, or I don't think we will get to that point. If for no other reason than the gaming industry is so big right now. I'm not saying it's too big to fail, but it's gaming is so ubiquitous right now that just because, say, the Xbox brand is falling apart, that doesn't have the impact it would have had 30 or 40 years ago, right? When the first crash happened, I mean, it was hubris, but it was a very small market.
Right.
You know,
but it was also in part companies wanting to see number go up indefinitely that didn't.
Sure.
Due to consumer reaction and buying trends.
But I mean,
which could happen here, but I don't think it'll be the same.
But we also, you know, like, the thing to remember about that era too, like, the safeties weren't in the guards weren't in place. The guardrails weren't in place like they have been since like 85 with Nintendo. Right? I mean, the Nintendo seal of quality and the whole lockout chip and everything, like, that's not a thing that existed before Nintendo did it. You know, third parties were unfettered on ColecoVision and the Intellivision and the 2600. And I mean, you know, if you go back and I don't know if a lot of people realize this, like, Mattel was selling an add-on for the Intellivision that would let you play your 2600 games.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was the Wild West. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, there was a lot of there's a lot of things that came together to cause that crash. Along with, Warner Brothers just not understanding anything about video games. But anyway, I don't feel like, again, like something like Xbox folding, I keep referring to Xbox because they're just the ones that seem to be in the most trouble right now.
What do you think Xbox folding,
that's not going to kill mobile games,
if that happened? I mean, if Xbox folded, what would that actually?
What part of the market? How big of the market? Like, I mean, it would kill some studios for sure. Although they've just divested themselves of a bunch of studios anyway.
I mean, the thing that would happen was they would just sell off Blizzard and Bethesda, and it wouldn't kill. It would just, the brand would die. But studios,
I don't know that the
probably have a good chance on getting bought up, at least by that Saudi Arabian investment.
Oh God. I don't know that the platform is big enough that losing it would hurt anybody that badly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that people are putting all their eggs in that basket. I'm talking about third parties at this point, right? Like, everybody is diversified over 5 different platforms right now. But most people are, right? So it's like, losing that, yes, I'm sure it would mean you take a hit. But right now, I think it's the smallest piece of, like, by far the smallest piece of the pie. Like you were just talking about earlier in the show about GTA 6 pre-orders reportedly being 6-1. Right. So it's like, you know, if I would sell 7 copies of GTA 6, but if the Xbox died, I'd only sell 6. That's not really a big deal, relatively speaking.
Right.
So I don't know that it would have that big a reach.
It would have an impact on the studios that have gone into Game Pass agreements where they receive money based on having their game in Game Pass.
It would hurt indies.
That would be a hardship.
It would hurt indies, I think, more than anything else.
In a big way. Yeah, I think it would hurt some.
But it's rough to be an indie studio now anyway.
That's also true. Yeah. I think a lot of people wave away, indies are great because we have Peak and Magic Chameleon and Repo and like these indie games that are friend slop games or whatever that people are playing. And it's like, you don't realize how many games are released on Steam on a daily, monthly, yearly basis, like, and how many are successful versus how many fail. And
I mean, you
can say, indies are doing well, but are you sure about that? Or are you sure about the top 5% of indies?
I was going to say, a single digit percentage of indie games are doing well.
Right. And kind of the same in the AAA, AA space.
Yeah.
Like, even though Expedition 33, not Exhibition 33. Expedition 33 did very well. That's one of the publishers' lineup of games that has other games in it. And, know, it's not like all of those games did super well. And it's a very complicated market.
Yep. Exactly. Excuse me. Exactly.
Yes.
But I'm just saying it wouldn't be the same.
No, it wouldn't be. And to ask yourself if this is a crash, it's not. We won't know that until it's over, for one.
Right.
But I feel that this is more of a transition, fingers crossed, than what happened in the 80s with the video game market crash.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a comment or you want to ask a question, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on your blue skies, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about, as well as a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on youtube.com/P1Podcast. Or you can watch us live most weeks on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Just follow our Blue Sky account to find out when we're doing our next live show. And if you like what you heard and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It helps us keep the lights on, which is getting harder and harder to do in this economy. CJ's got Black Flag to play, so he needs electricity.
True.
And anyway, please support the show. And if you are a subscriber of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain special access to a weekly bonus episode. We record it live after this, where we play games, crack-wise, do all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ.
Yeah.
Do we have an after show?
Of course we have an after show. What are you talking about?
I know it's not my turn.
We not have an after show. We have a game. Yeah, we're going to be doing an EGM review game from the July 1996 issue of the magazine.
Cool. Speaking of which, did you see that the EGM Compendium now has every issue of EGM 2?
I did see that.
Digitally?
They added that. That's awesome. Yes.
All 49 issues.
There you go.
Pretty cool. Now they need to get the specials up there. Yeah. Now they need to get like the Super Nintendo Buyer's Guide and Pocket Games and sports video games. And
yes.
We got to do that next. Mega.
There are so many of those that I worked on and don't have.
Me too.
Of, and
Me too. Mega Play.
I loved
Mega Play.
Yes.
And if you have a few bucks left over, please consider supporting me on patreon.com/Greg Seward, where $3 a month
Also cheap.
Gets you early access to every one of my new videos. So please consider supporting me as well. CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hosting this week.
Thank you, Greg, for not leaving me to podcast alone. Because nobody wants to listen to that. You're what?
I'm doing that next week.
Oh, you're doing that next week. That's right.
I'm jet setting this coming week with your best friend Mike. So.
Oh, that's right. I'm going to be doing that the first week of August. I won't be here.
All right.
So I'm telling you now.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for hosting this week. And thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in. We really appreciate you and love chatting with you every week. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.